channel How to Make Gold, could also be called the debris theory of disease. Disease is just debris to be gotten rid of. The formula is all disease is obstruction. All recovery is elimination. And then all success will be attraction. The three obstructions are people, habit, and food. Okay, now we're going through each of the ways people obstruct us, bad habits obstruct us. Okay? The debris theory of disease. It's just debris. Okay? Just eliminate it. But you must eliminate it. What most people do is hang on. They hang on to anachronisms, things that are no longer applicable to you, things that aren't part of you anymore. We hang on to people who aren't appropriate. We hang on to old habits. Eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. And then the vacuum fills in with all new stuff, all new inspirations. Time shoots forward, not in terms of aging, but cosmic delight, inspiration, new things to overcome and discover. You make an amazing new dent in the world, but you must eliminate debris first. People, habit, and inappropriate food. Yeah, the third obstruction, food. People are very fat, at least here in America. I'm old enough to remember the 50s and 60s when people were very thin. Not anorexic looking, but thin. And slender, but vital. And, you know, it's like a different human race now. Everybody's fat. I'm not insulting them, I feel sorry for them. But this comes from the denatured food, wrong food, eating too much food, and basically food addiction. Using food as a way to deal with emotions. It's a traumatized generation due to broken families. Emotional trauma happens early. When families were together way back then, you didn't have this type of thing. You didn't have emotional trauma and physical trauma to overcome. But people use food as a device to deal with this anxiety, and they just get wider and wider and wider. When we go to Walmart, I can't believe everybody is fat. They just don't look like the same human race. People really looked good way back then, 50, 60 years ago. You wouldn't believe it. Look up old pictures, how slim they were. Well, that's the obstruction. Using food as a device to deal with anxiety. It's a maladaptive coping device, along with alcohol and drugs. You see, we're a drug addicted, and I'm talking about legal drugs, psych drugs. Most women are on antidepressants. They're terrible. I've gone through that in a prior section. The question is, are you willing to walk away from these obstructions? Your favorite pastimes? Your ways of giving yourself solace? Are you able to walk away to higher delights, success, creative inspiration, and making an amazing new dent in the world? Yes, you should be. That's called obedience. Everybody has an opinion. Most of the opinions you hear are just recycled assumptions of the herd. It's all a herd. People conform to each other. The truly intelligent is an individual, individuated. They've separated from this herd situation, the bell-shaped curve. They are themselves. They have found the true self that God developed before our birth. But most have dropped all that. They don't even know who they are. They just conform to each other. They're like a flock of birds, flying in perfect unison to each other. No one questioning the flight pattern itself. They're just adapting to each other. And that's the way the human herd is. Okay? Recycled assumptions that they call their opinion. It isn't their opinion at all. They're just parroting what they hear. Now, stepping out of collective programming is called individuation. The herd doesn't want that. You make them very uncomfortable if you do that. Yeah, okay? As Jung said, the painful work of becoming who you actually are. Yes, we are a seed symbol, a unique seed symbol. It's peculiar. We are God's peculiar design. The herd doesn't want you to be like that. And so it's painful. It's painful to become who you really are because you have to dislodge from this collective cement, and they will react. They want you to conform to them. But it will bring you tremendous joy, and God promised that He would prosper you. Become your true self. It's unique. It's one at a time. Nobody else is like you, and it has talents attached to it. Develop those talents, and you will prosper. This is from my dissertation. Society needs predictability to follow the script. And when somebody deviates from that, no good. They want you to conform also to their expected timeline of your life. When you're in your 20s, you should be doing this. When you're in your 30s, you should be doing that. Well, it's been shown, studies have shown that truly intelligent people, empaths, are late bloomers. They may not find their talents till way later in life. They spend the early part of their life finding themselves. When most people are, so-called success, they haven't found themselves. They've simply conformed. And then when they hit 60, they collapse because they aren't their true self. The empath is a late bloomer. So don't, conform to their timelines. The collective pushes back. If you want to do things on your timeline and be who you really are, they put you down, okay? They pass you over for those who are more agreeable. I had this happen. My PhD sponsor stole my ideas and got a huge grant for it, and I didn't get a nickel for it. He passed me over, and he took it. If you're different, you'll be passed over or ignored. The same thing happened with my postdoc sponsor. Stole my ideas and dropped me from the grant. This happens to people who are different. They hate you for it, but they'll steal your ideas. You have to give up so much to conform. You have to reduce your highly complex mind in ideas. See, they're simpletons. They can't think as complexly as you can. But to adapt to the herd, you have to reduce yourself. The intelligent throughout history conclude the cost of participation is higher than the reward. You have to reduce yourself too much, or they'll criticize you. And so it's often been seen that people who are highly intelligent will just drop out of society and do their own thing. There is no reward to it. They have found that. The others think there's great reward to be liked, to be invited, to go to parties, to be popular. No, not really. Not if you've lost your true self. When you have to translate everything you want to say to something this is agreeable to the herd, the mind loses sharpness. The mind is like a muscle, it adapts. And if you have to constantly talk to simpletons, the mind atrophies. You want to be around those who can appreciate what you're doing. It's important to be around people you have something in common with. The herd you have nothing in common with. So if you're into that, the social life, shaking hands, going up the ladder that way, it's not going to work as well as finding those who can relate to you or just being alone. And if you are alone and you don't have to adapt to that and translate everything you say from complexity to simplicity so the dullards will understand it, if you don't have to waste your energy like that, you're going to climb up the ladder much faster. We talked about the true self and the persona. The persona is the mask we wear to adapt to the herd, okay? The mask becomes suffocating. Now with most people, the difference between the mask and their self isn't that big. But with an intelligent person, it's such a wide gulf from who they really are and the mask they wear to adapt to simpletons, you see? And it's just suffocating. They say, this isn't worth it. I don't want to wear this mask anymore. I want to stay home. I don't want to go out anymore. Let's just stay home. That's when I can be myself. Schopenhauer said, the only time you can be yourself is when you're alone in your own home. And that is so true. There is nothing like home. Going beyond the comforts of home, it's the fact that you can be yourself. I like to compare the suffocation of an intelligent person to adapt to the herd like a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. When it goes too slow, it bogs down. It's got to go at a certain speed to be itself. It's the same thing. You know, bog down. You're going to waste your life that way. It is exhausting to constantly manage how you come across. If you're an intelligent person and you're different from them, it's exhausting. The Stanford study showed that people with high IQ spend 6 to 8 hours daily moderating themselves and their language to adapt. Imagine that. That's like a full day. 6 to 8 hours a day? Oh my gosh. That would be just so exhausting. This is why social occasions are so exhausting to me. I have to sleep the whole next day. It drains me entirely. Managing how we come across. Imagine how debilitating and enervating that is. Einstein proved it's all just energy. We are just energy, vibrating at different rates of speed. Mind energy is the fastest in the universe. And to be like a Harley-Davidson going slow, bogging down to adapt to them, takes more energy than it's worth. Again, from my dissertation, smart people make others feel exposed. This is the major reason there's a collision between you and the herd. Not intentionally, we aren't going around saying we're smart, but just by being. It has been found that intellectual comparison, them comparing themselves to you, oh, you seem smart, they feel threatened, activates threat responses in a way much bigger than physical threats or financial comparison threats. He's richer than I am. Oh, they feel bad. Here, he's bigger than I am. They feel bad. But if you're intellectually bigger, just because of the way you see things, it's not a matter of having a big vocabulary and all that or boldness. Just how you see things in systems rather than isolated, it's a bigger threat than any other kind of threat. And they will put you down, but they'll steal your ideas if they get a chance to, as has been proven to me by my counselors. They stole my ideas and kicked me off the grant, but they used the entire grant that I designed. You know, they feel threatened by you, but they want to be you. Now, why is this? Why would your worldview challenge them so severely? Well, people's thinking is deeply tied to their sense of self. If challenged, even without a word, it can be in silence, that you are challenging their identity, okay? It looks like dismissal. They will react with dismissal, or you're too theoretical, or you're not realistic. You know, they'll say these things because you're not thinking like they do. You're thinking way above them. You're coming up with solutions they never thought of. You're part of God's mind. His mind is way above man's. And you're co-creating with him. They never heard of such a thing. It's groundbreaking. And they will dismiss you. Okay, it's not easy being smart. As I wrote, when somebody challenges their lazy assumptions, okay, or unrecognized beliefs, they don't know why they think that way. They're just mimicking other people. They think something's wrong with her. Yeah. Look they killed Socrates for thinking differently. One of the greatest thinkers that ever lived. Be ready for it. Again, you never claimed superiority. You just showed up at your natural level. You created an uncomfortable mirror just by being you. As Jesus said, they hated me before they hated you. Yes, Jesus, the Son of God, said, they hated me before they hated you. Okay? They despise you. They accept the other people who mimic them and parrot the line and accept the line, even though all through history, the worldview has been cyclical. It keeps changing, the worldview of the herd. So, like a flock of birds, it changes along with the others. Nobody ever questions that the worldview of the herd is never the same in every generation. It changes generationally, you see? And they move like a block. There's a mass readjustment to a new beat. Okay, they march to a different drummer. Yeah, that's all it takes. And then they say, well, that's the truth. Another generation, well, that's the truth. And anybody who doesn't march is pushed out. And all of this is why separation brings your success. That is why, in a nutshell. It's why Socrates was dangerous. Okay? His questions made people feel stupid. And this was intolerable to them. If brilliance can't be used, it becomes a threat, though they'll steal your ideas. By the way, my PhD chairman who bumped me off the grant but used my ideas, he died in his 30s. And my postdoc chairman who used my ideas but left me off the grant, he died in his 50s. You know, I'm not saying that, God will fight our battles. God is very vindictive. I'm not saying there's a link, but, it sure seems like there was.